Sivaya Nama Tiruchitrambalam. Welcome back to our discussion on Thiruppaatu. In this, we are going to continue our discussion on the 6th verse. This belongs to the place called as Thinai Nagar. The verse goes this way: Ventharaay ulagu aandu aram purinthu veetriruntha ivudal ithu thannai theynthu iranthu venthuyar uzhanthidum ipokka vaazhvinai vittidu nenjey paanthal kaiyil uganthaanai paramania kadal soor thadinthitta senthar தாதையை திருத்தினை நகருள் சிவக்கொழுந்தினை சென்றடை மனனே. This particular verse also follows the same pattern as the earlier 5 verses, as in he talks about giving an advice to the soul, to this heart, to this basically for our mind, intellect, whatever we call it. We have to surrender ourselves to the Siva Kolundu in the form of linga, but in the form of fire linga. We have to surrender ourselves completely to him. And he gives a very, very practical approach. In the first 2 lines he says, you know something, I was born in a family of as a Sivacharya, but I was grown up as a king. That's the first thing he says. I was growing as a king. So I was brought up with the entire tradition and ritual and the ceremony that a prince will have to go through. I've been in that luxurious life. I have been in that kind of totally a different lifestyle I had been in. But you know what? Even if I'm a king, even if I'm a prince, even if I'm an emperor, whatever it is, I'm still ought to leave this body one day. And what will happen to this body when I leave this body? It will go back to the earth. So which means the body that we are trying to preserve, protect, beautify, glorify, whatever we want to call it. You imagine how much of money we are spending in beauty parlor and saloons and whatever it is. We are doing so many steroid injections to just keep our skin glowing, to keep our youthfulness. We are taking so many pills and this and that. We are even going to the extent of doing a lot of operations just to look pretty, look good, look handsome, look tall, whatever we want to call it. But end of the day, how long is this body going to be with us? How long? Probably 80 years, 90 years, 100 years. After that, maybe even 120 years. After that, we don't have any history of someone living beyond 120 years, isn't it? So which means whatever we are spending in terms of time, in terms of money, in terms of effort, whatever we are spending is of all no use, because everything is one fine day going to be buried or burnt. Basically, in my tradition, we will be burning the dead bodies. So if you look at it, this body, whatever we are having right now, whatever kind of lifestyle we are living in, doesn't matter. It is all going to be temporary in nature. So don't even think about preserving this body. Get away from this. Surrender yourself completely to Lord Shiva, who is in Thinai Nagar, and he will be your savior. That is what this particular verse talks about. He is also having a very nice sequence in this, a Purana information, where Lord Muruga, there was a demon called as the Surabatman. He went into the sea. He was hiding from Lord Muruga. So he went into the sea and he grew up as a mango tree, and he was creating a lot of trouble for the sea god. That is when Lord Muruga destroyed him completely, destroyed the demon in the form of a mango tree. Even today, if you remember, after Deepavali, we will be celebrating 6 days in this remembrance, and on the 6th day, this particular event is celebrated in a very, very grand manner in most of the South Indian temples. And This is because of the history of Surabatman, killing the demon called as Surabatman. he is actually in this particular verse, a reference to that history is also given. He says Lord Shiva is the father of Lord Muruga, and Lord Muruga is the one who destroyed the demon called as Surapadman. Lovely verse. Let us also pray, pray and wish that we will one fine day surrender ourselves completely to Lord Shiva, like what Nambi Arurar did, and that will be the day, the real day that we are born, not now. I'll come back again with the next verse very soon. Until then, Sivaya Nama, Tiruchitrambalam.